41 right now. It says. We're just gonna play 9 later, hopefully. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Forgot the sponsor's gonna bring tacos. So we're gonna have pizza and tacos.
Were they bringing pizza and tacos?
So they were bringing snacks at first, and then just emailed me that they found a taco place. And I was like, oh.
What are we getting pizza for then?
Well, I tried to call to cancel the pizza, but they're already here.
Oh.
So yeah.
All
So we're
right.
gonna do both.
So we're gonna have food. I like it.
Yes.
So when Mark's gonna do the stats, will you guys be able to like get up there and get them all squared away? Okay.
Yeah, I have his thing pulled up.
Okay. Well, my watch says 11. So should we get started? Should we wait? Oh, okay. That's not my thing, Mark. Come on. I mean, it is. It is. Yeah. Now you're just slinging residential like a champion right now. Did you get switched over? Good for you. Well, I guess the division website's been down too, so it's a few more bodies than last week. Yeah, last, So, oh crap! I'm gonna grab the culture icon award. Hello. Hi. On deck with the baby. So I'm glad she is home. Sorry, I'm running team meetings. So I gotta. Sorry about that. Well, luckily, Makai didn't pack this up and take it with her. So, okay, guys, everybody, welcome to team meeting. Happy to have all of you here. Well, last week of Bold, so we'll start getting a little bit more full for team meetings coming up. So, please work. Hang on, apologize. Technical difficulties. Okay. Okay, it's working. Okay, sign in if you guys choose to do so, please. Okay. You want to go back? Okay. We got one person who plays by the rules. Okay, we got 2. I like it. Okay. Anybody got some love to share? Samantha.
I have some love for Grace. She has been so amazing with the transition and learning from Makai and stepping up when we have been crumbling and decorating Makai's office. And I think just sending her away really made Makai feel special and loved. And you've just been a really good asset to the company.
Yeah, I'll second that. Yeah. Because I'll second that because Grace, you've obviously started this role relatively recently. So I'm sure pretty probably a weird time, broker change, people leaving, what have you, kind of a steep learning curve, and you've done an amazing job. So appreciate you doing that. Thank you again. Anybody else have any love to share? Hey, there's a couple seats up here. If you can find them, feel. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there might be a couple more if you. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Okay. Any bite-sized wins? Anybody using? I know Mark, you were talking about some AI stuff, but.
So we've been using AI since Josh's class, and we've been doing the Bible brand stuff, and we've been building for each property. And we just have a listing that just came on, and we put everything in. We did this outlook for the listing and gave them like 3 options for pricing and sent it over, all generated by AI. And it was like, A, if you want this price, the top of the line, B, if you want to be this, and C, if you want to be that. And then just send it to them, and they chose one of their own pricing. Instead of us telling them like, we think you should do this, we're giving them the options based on that AI. And it's really concise and clear on why they should list this price and what they should expect when they list at that price. It was pretty sick. So
Yeah.
we took comps, we took all the comps and uploaded them into it. Yeah, so we pulled the CMA, and then we took the CMA and we took the property, and then we just uploaded it into that file for that particular property. And then it started to shoot out a report on everything that was in there. And I'll give you one other tip. I was telling Sean this. I've been taking the stats because I'm doing this for Josh. So he's like, you should take all the stats for every week and upload them into your Bible brand. And so I just started pulling them all and then uploading them. And then AI starts to adjust from that. But based on that, like, it's changed how we look at our marketing. We changed our marketing, how our name is. Instead of being like Duo Utah Real Estate, now we're just saying Duo. And then it'll say Duo, a Utah real estate company. And it started talking about like different ways for marketing that we can use. I mean, if you're not doing that, I would recommend just taking the last 2 or 3 weeks of stats and upload it into your Bible brand and just see what it kicks out and see what you find. But I have found that it's really pushed me more focused on some things. So
It's awesome. Yeah. Anybody else got any AI stuff they've been using? Jess, are you just saying hi?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You kind of raised your hand. Wasn't sure. So, okay. All right. Any new agents, guests, visitors? Doesn't really, I mean, Heather and Annie to a certain degree, but, but love you guys. So, okay. We'll come back. Yeah. I think he's dealing with the division because the division website's not very good.
when you're a legend,
When you're, yeah, exactly. So, Makai was our last week's cultural icon. I think that was a very fitting send off because she rightfully should win it like every week, to be honest with you guys. But with that being said, she got to us and told us who she wants to give this award to this week. He's been really stepping up and doing some stuff that's when I think it's kind of the culture of the offices, right? Like, hey, do you mind? You're really good at this certain thing, whatever it may be, and stepping up and hey, and teaching this to some people, teaching it to teach a class, what have you. So, we're all busy with lives, all busy with business, everything, but for him to take some time out of his day to really help out the offices as best he can. So we want to give this Culture Icon Award this week to Nate Sassy.
I just say too, Makai did not hesitate at all when I asked her who she wants as cultural icon.
Got to go to Seattle now. So congratulations, Nate. Hey, Nate, what's your Y4C2 chief? Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I agree with that. Okay. Next up, I got to remember, I can't look at this one because of the glare. So Halloween party is going to be at the Midvale office on Wednesday from 4:30 to 6:30. So if you guys want to swing by, have some fun, some refreshments, that'll be happening. There you go. You better bring it. Okay. All right. All right, guys, a couple training classes coming up. Business planning clinic, who signed up for that on Thursday? Okay, I like it. Okay. Okay, November 4th here at this office, Pillar to Post is coming to teach renovate, remodel, repair. Unfortunately, Casey didn't tell me what exactly is going to be covered, but I think it's always good info to come in. 1 hour CE, so come do that. And then on the first Wednesday of every month, Keller Williams Luxury does a training that Brady Sandall and Carolyn Howe put on, and they're great. And yeah, it's for luxury agents, but like we're gonna start doing watch parties for everybody because there's a lot of stuff. It's kind of price point agnostic, what we should be doing and what Brady covers. So highly suggest that. That'll be Wednesday, and we're going to be doing that here in this office, Wednesday, November 5th, excuse me, from 9 to 10. So only an hour, so you don't have to kill yourself to, walk out too much time for that. So, but really good information there. All right. Open house matchmaker. I know we've talked about this a little bit. We kind of go over that wants and needs or anything. Grace, do you have any more information on how we're going to be rolling this out?
Yes. So I don't know if you guys have seen, but Liza's been sending out an email that's going to be starting weekly for open house stuff. So if you need open houses done, if you want to do open houses, reply to that. We're just doing a little advertisement for it.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, next up. So we've done the Pimp My Listing thing. We don't have anything up right now, but we're kind of rebranding it to Market Makeover. So right now, let's say, we're making good time. It's 11:08. Anybody have any listings that they or currently have that they're struggling with for a variety of reasons? Should we pull it up? Would be helpful. Just talk about it. Okay.
I just want somebody to buy them. So I've got one in West Jordan and one in Sandy that my clients are like super anxious to get going. The one in West Jordan is a little bit challenging because it does back up to commercial. My clients have never had an issue with it, but that is something that is a challenge. We've debated on whether they should replace the carpet in the downstairs bathroom or if they should just leave it. I have. Can they just not? Just remove it? Yeah, I think that they should do that. So we've kind of just been going back and forth.
Yeah.
Obviously, a price improvement is on the horizon. It's listed for $685. I think one of the other challenges is that they of course had an appraisal done in July. And so they are like obsessed with that.
I had that earlier this year myself.
Yeah. And so just kind of working with them. They're really great, but I'm getting some pushback.
Yeah.
And then my Sandy listing, Chris McGee has held several open houses, and the feedback is always, wow, this house is amazing. It's our favorite one, but then they choose other houses. And the agents are not doing a good job at giving us like real feedback as far as like why. The one feedback that I got was the other house had a better view. Like we can't change that.
Yeah.
So those are the two that are like pretty stagnant. And then my Liberty Wells house, it's real rough around the edges. Annie went through it on Saturday. And it just needs quite a bit of love. I also have it listed for rent. It's Jordan's. So he's a little bit more patient with me.
Well, I think one thing that I've got some information from the Cody Gibson thing that was actually really pertinent, but like you said, you can't beat the view, right? Like you have objections and you have conditions. It sounds like that West Jordan property, you've got a condition, like something that can be done to remedy the issue, or at least.
And then the other one is the location.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So who went to the Cody Gibson thing last Thursday? Okay. I mean, it was great for many reasons, but here's some of the notes I took. And this line really stood out to me. And he said, if you don't like the price I'm giving you today, then you're really not going to like the price I give you in 4 to 6 months. So, I mean, if you really have a motivated seller, maybe just kind of doing a little bit of fear, like, hey, like, I know you don't want to, but it might benefit you now, right? Sort of thing. The average homeowner has 37% equity in their home. 18% of homes are owned outright. So the reason I bring up those stats is I found those interesting because there is so much equity. People can stand, unless you bought obviously in the last couple of years, then you're kind of flattish, right? But it's like you're going to see, the belief and the feeling is that you're going to see a lot of price reductions happening because people have, again, either 100% or whatever, right? 30% is the average. So it's like, okay, I can reduce my price 5%. And guess what? I'm still sitting on 32% equity, right? So the one other thing you said that kind of ties into this is who sets the pricing on a home? Like who determines what a house is worth? Okay. Yeah, I agree with that because a home is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it, right? But he said this, and this really resonated with me. The person who sets the pricing is the most motivated seller in the area. Does that make sense? Because you're going to start seeing, I think, do you want to sell your property or do you want to help sell your neighbor's property, right? So I think that's where you're going to start seeing that become wildly true is you'll see who's really motivated and who wants to just see what the market's doing. So anyhow, that's my thoughts. Anybody else have some thoughts that can help out?
One of the other, like, what about when the shutdown is over? Is that gonna bring the buyers back? And, what is that? What about the shutdown? Is another objection that I'm getting from them is, well, let's wait and see how that goes. Because once it comes back to light, maybe the buyers are going to start coming out of the woodwork. So that is another one that's, out of
Yeah,
our control.
right. Another, yeah.
Some other things that like if you look at Phil Jones, he might say, hey, well, what if it doesn't? What do we do then? And so getting them to think past that or look at it, do we see that, hey, has that affected you and your business? Or what do you see that? Because they might be reading that this is what's impacting it because they're holding on for dear life that they can get this price. But you have to have a reality check and maybe, hey, do you see the shutdown affecting your personal business? Well, no. Then how do you think it's affecting them in real estate right now? And so making them come to that own conclusion versus you telling them that might really help them to come to the light earlier, I would say.
Part of the reality, I mean, I'm sure Mark will have this in a minute, but I mean, buyer applications, right, with lenders have been pretty consecutively up. So it's like, well, let's look and see how the shutdown in the last 3 weeks, it has affected applications. It's like, oh, it hasn't, or they're still up 11%, or, whatever that reality is too.
And I'd say also kind of going back to that appraisal is like, at the end of the day, an appraisal is one person's opinion on the value of a home in one given moment in time. We get 5 appraisers out here, we're likely going to get 5 different appraisal values. They might not be wildly different from one another, but I mean, that was also in the summer, peak selling season, not October, November, right? So I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing also, right, about the different type of appraisals, right? They're not, like, they weren't listing at the time.
Yeah.
They were just curious on what it was.
This is a great idea.
Yeah, I just helped somebody in our office, Justin, sell it's on the market right now, but how he priced it. So there's 2 other houses for sale on that street that have been on the market for over 30 days. He marked it 10,000 below their latest price adjustment.
Yeah.
So you
That's
have to
who's
have
setting the
those
price,
hard
right?
Conversations, and there are good
Yeah.
agents that are like pricing them right to sell.
Yeah. Yeah. You either sell or you help sell. So which one are you, right? So anybody else have anything? Yeah, I think what Lee said too is really a good idea. So Dave, we'll come back to you. I don't want to go back, but we want to do your broker moment. You got anything for us?
We're doing almost almost out of muscle reflex, and we're not pausing and saying, yeah, but what if? And making a contingency escape or whatever, what if? What if I can't get the third party in a joint ownership to sign off on it? What if? You know, I mean, ask those questions, because we have been putting, in a couple of situations, we put our clients in a position where they weren't aware of the what if, and the what if came true. And in my world, that's called Dave's Law or Murphy's Law, whatever. But suddenly our people are behind the 8 ball because the other team couldn't do what we thought they were going to do. And so always take a pause on the what if. Another thing I'm seeing this week is we've got some seller financing options going up there, and we're advertising on our listings. You know, seller will carry at 4% or 5% or 6% or whatever, with payments at 8.20. You are walking scarily close to a truth in lending disclosure rule, where neither both. You could either do an interest rate, you can do, but then you have to get into the annual percentage rate and all of those kind of things. So what if the bad guys, meaning the regulators out there, are watching your ads? You know, what if? It's certainly as easier saying seller will consider below market rates with payments as low as, you know, and putting in the little contingency there. But think what if.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what? Oh, no, I just grabbed the remote. I thought, oh, okay. I thought Jess was going to start saying something. So, okay. Yeah. That's 2 weeks in a row. I love it. Okay. Okay, Mark, let's get you up here. Hey, Grace, will you get him all squared away? No, you're okay.
Okay, well,
Oh, yeah.
gotta wait till it change.
Why don't you sing for us?
You sing, and you sing good.
That would not be good.
You sing good.
I need a couple drinks for that, seriously. So. Okay, so stats this week. You know, honestly, nothing's really changed. We look, there's some variation between like active on contracts and stuff like that, but most of that's pretty, it's just too early to tell like if there's a trend, if we're seeing some change, because I don't know about you guys, but it seems like there is an uptick in the market right now. If you have buyers, I'm seeing a lot more activity. I've had 2 call signs, which I have not had call signs for like a year. And I had 2 call signs this last week from just randos on driving around looking at houses. So that was pretty amazing. There are a couple of things that I will look at. Active backup on contract, that's 753, that's down from 777. But if we look at active listings are up, there's no variation there. What the one I was going to look at was sold listings. That's up from 514 to 587. So if we really look at contracts are about 30 days, and you look back, rates started to drop down at the end of September, and we started to see this uptick. And so that's probably a pretty good indication that as rates have changed, we see this uptick. We might see, if we're watching this, if you're watching this, then I would personally, this is something I look at, is just these things like, oh, okay, well, if rates are going down and we see this uptick, well, that tells me that the market's shifting a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more energy in the market. So if I have listings, I might do an adjustment or do some marketing to try to attract people. Or if I have buyers, I might say, hey, this is a great time to get in. Rates are down. You can utilize that however you like to, but that's what I would think of. Price reductions. This was the other one I thought was really good. Is last week we saw 1,470 price reductions, 1,336 for this week, and that is a clear indication just because of what the rates are. Rates have dropped down. the market stabilizing. So we're not seeing, and if we look at the active days on market, they're pretty much exactly the same. So what we're seeing is, and when I put this into AI, it has responses, and you can pull the report, but it says that what we're seeing is stabilization in the market. And if you have listings, because the rates drop down, there's not enough to demand to start raising the prices. Because if y'all remember when we were in the last big market during COVID, rates were way down, and all of a sudden, people who are going to buy a $500,000 house could buy a $700,000 house because the rate was so good. And we saw this, if you owned a house, everybody here that owned a house enjoys 30% equity, from that time, because that was the response from us. We're not seeing that yet, but what that does say is just by those two numbers that we don't have to do as many price reductions on our properties. So if you have listings, maybe stick with it a little bit more, or do a small, price reduction. And I don't think this shows concessions as well. So I don't know if you all look, when you're looking at property, you guys all look and see what houses are selling for, and then seeing what concessions they're giving. And so you'll see, if you look at that, that's not something that I can pull on the report for some reason. But when I look, I think you're going to start seeing less concessions on as well, because we don't need them. If rates are down, then people seem to be pretty good with a 6% interest rate. Feels very stable. So.
Is remembering when I do my CMAs to make sure I add that summary page, because that is the one place that you easily get to spot concessions, so that I make sure I'm having that conversation with the seller about, you're seeing concessions.
Yeah. And I think that ties in just some of the things we talked about, is setting proper expectations. We're taking all the data here, and then you're trying to take that, and what it's for is to, for you to give to your clients and tell them what's going on in the market, and give them some confidence either to move forward, or what the strategy is based on what their needs and wants are. But setting some proper expectations in this market still, I think, is your number one key to success. So, you got the stats up. That's pretty much what I went over there. So if you look at that, that's pretty much it. So, the interpretations, if you go to the next slide. I don't know if it's in there. We'll keep going past that one. Those are just graphs right here. Keep going just a little bit past that. So this is the interpretations, and you can look at this, obviously download this. But it talks about active listings. Hey, we've hit a seasonal high ceiling, and you can see that from the graph. We've been just staying right under 14,000. I don't know if we're going to break 14,000. If we do the seasonal adjustment, they're saying we probably won't, because we're moving into the winter months. But it is one to keep an eye on, because with the rates changing in this time of year, I think you could see anything you want. We know that there's going to be an adjustment in the quarter point adjustment in rates at the end of this week. They've already announced that, and I don't know if that's been priced in or not, or how that looks. But whenever we hear that and people see that, news is going to give perception to your clients. And so even if the rate doesn't change very much, the perception is that it's getting easier to buy a house. And, when we looked at a graph last week that I had that just showed where the percentage of properties that were being bought, and what you're seeing is affordability that's in the 3 to 5, and then 5 to 700,000. Those are those two markets right there where we're seeing the most property. So in fact, 60% plus of the market for September was in those two market ranges. And you can pull the stats on that. If you go to the MLS and you go to Rapid Stats, there's a ton of little stats right there that you can pull that will just give you a good idea of what, if you're pricing a property or you're listing a property, this is what to expect. So,
Are you going to be having a class for us on that?
Rapid Stats? No, because you can just go to the MLS and pull it. So, I mean, if you can push a tab, you can get it. So, let's
you
see.
go.
Yeah, she just
Doing so well.
yeah, she just giving me shit. So better not say I said that though. So bottom line, if we go to the very last part, it just says Utah housing market has entered the late fall holding pattern. Buyers have regained leverage through time, not discounts. Sellers who adjust price early stand out in crowded patient market. I don't necessarily, I think that's probably true, but I mean, we are all, like, I always think about like boots in the ground. Like if you're active in the market and you're actively looking for a property for your client, or if I have a listing, I'm always looking around like what's coming up or what's being sold around my listings. Because that's going to give me the best indication of what is really going on, not stats that happened 30 days ago. That just doesn't, like I don't even know what's going on now, right? And I'll look at a lot of properties, and what I see a lot of times is, other agents, not in this office, so I'm just going to say that, will pull a CMA, they'll show top price, but the house isn't in the top price condition. And so I think a lot of times what we see a reduction is when people are overpricing a house that just is not, they're never going to hit it because the house isn't in that type of condition. And so when I'm looking around, one thing I always just try to remind myself is if my property's in really good shape or it's in top condition and everything's lower, not very good condition, I can probably price it higher, or I can have that conversation with my client and show them like, hey, look, we're really good. Or I can price it the same and be really competitive, because if they're looking at two properties and one's needs paint and updates and flooring and the other one's all done and they're within, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000, I mean, who's not going to go for the one that's already updated? So just some things that I think that we can see that doesn't really tell the tale in the stats itself, but I think as agents, this is something, the conversation that you can have with your client. And I like to try to do is maybe do two CMAs, one that the top price if it's all fixed up, and then one that's not fixed up. Because I want my client to actually fix the property up if that's what they can do. If they can paint, do a couple of things, I want them to do that, because I think we're going to sell faster and we're going to get more money for it. So let's see, higher rates still says suppresses affordability. That's obviously the biggest issue here in Utah. But that is actually something that we may see change. We may see this change just a little bit as rates come around, which doesn't really mean everything, but it does mean something. So from the Wire Housing, you can read his article, his summary of what's going on, but it is almost identical of what he said last week. There hasn't been really any change. Some things I thought still stood out that he pointed out were, because of the shutdown, or even AWS. You guys, Monday, did anybody have problems getting online, have problems with AWS? They said that he talked about that may have been why we see a little bump in some of the stats in the market, just because there's not enough reporting because some stats were down from AWS. I'm not quite sure how that affects it, but they're just the company that like the backbone for a lot of the internet stuff. Yeah, what he said. So one thing I did point out, because I asked this to a couple weeks ago, but in his report he talks about the mortgage spreads on interest rates, and they have been high for the last 3 years, which, the money that they can borrow from the government versus what they're borrowing to buyers, that's the spread, right? And that has been really high. And they are saying now that it's only 0.35% away from the average of what the average has been. And if that changes, which that could actually be better than the 10-year treasury bond, because if that 0.35 drops down, he says in his report that put rates between 5.6 and 5.89%. So just something as I would personally be watching and maybe having a conversation with my lender about is where the spread is, because those are talking points with my client. If I'm saying, hey, look, these are things that we want to be paying attention to, for strategy. So the last thing I'll just talk about is I pulled some stuff for rental and vacancy, and I looked at a couple of things. You guys remember when we did the luxury at the Holiday over at the bougie $5-7 million condo 4 or 5 months ago? Trader Joe's is opening up. Their grand opening is this Friday, October 31st. So that is the first anchor that is coming to that area. And I think as agents, that's what we should be watching in that area or in Salt Lake. That's a big deal, because that's going to be, there's a lot of people that are going to be pulled to that area. And Trader Joe's is, as we know, people love it. It's great. That's the Murray Holiday where the Cottonwood Mall was. I think they call it, that's the Holiday Hills development. So And, you know, that might be something we even want to, as an office, maybe we want to have those guys come back in as we watch what's going on there. We start to see some more businesses coming there, because I know Bobby Flay is opening a restaurant there. That's a big deal. There's some other places that are coming on that are going to be more luxury. So, and then the last thing I just pulled was some vacancy rates and looked at some vacancies of what's going on, because I had a conversation with somebody the other day and they were saying how, you know, they're building all these new rentals in Utah and like that's really affecting it. But, and I think that ties really into to our market as well for sales, right? In one of the total vacancy rate for Salt Lake County is 7.1. But if you adjust that, and this is what I pulled from ChatGTP, if you pull out the new builds, because it always takes a new building a while to fill up, to get its vacancy up. If you pull that out, our vacancy rate is 3%. So demand is still really high for rentals in Utah. The rents are down a little bit. The average person needs to make $70,000 to afford a house for rental in Utah, with the average rent around $1,500 bucks. So that conversation, if you have clients that are making more than that or around that, that's a great conversation to have about, hey, why don't you, instead of renting, like, let's start talking about, you know, there's a lot of houses. And if you look at, we tie back into where the houses are being sold, the most price range where most houses are being sold is, you know, $300,000 to $500,000. Those people can afford, they're not that far off from being able to afford either a single family or a townhome. There's a lot of affordability out there. There's a lot of, you know, we can see in new construction. And, you know, like one thing I talked to Jack about when he was here last time is Edge Homes. There where the drive-in was in Redwood Road, they have broken ground on that. And so you can drive by there and see that, but that's probably for new construction that's the closest to our office, other than driving on to like Magna, Tooele, things like that. So I was going to ask, I asked Jordan a little bit about commercial, so I thought I'd just tie that in, because I think I like to really look at the broader picture of what's going on in real estate. And there's one other development I think if you guys haven't been paying attention to, they just announced in Erta that they're going to do like a 650 unit development out there. That's a big deal. That's going to be mixed housing. So in Erta, yeah. So Tooele is now the new land place. So if you've got clients, that might be something to look at. And then on the commercial side, Texas Instruments, that's still coming on. And there's a big article right now. They're battling with UTA about getting public transportation out there and getting a rail line out there, because the state has started putting money into UTA going to the state prison development and not taking any further. But those are big polls. And then there was another thing that talked about how Eagle Mountain is now becoming the data center of Utah, because it's land and there's water out there. And, you know, we got Facebook has their big data center out there, but that is becoming a real hot point for commercial, which, you know, okay, great. What does that do for us and our clients? That just means if there's billion, that people are going to want to live there. So if you work in those markets, those are things maybe that you can talk to clients as they start, you know, looking at buying real estate, real estate. So that's it. Any questions? Thoughts, comments? I said everything for this whole group. That's ridiculous.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, we only got a couple things left. We'll wrap it up. So I don't see any folks from Luminary here, so okay. No market update. Well, Mark, just give us the market update. Let's see. Hang on. Trying. I need you to do it. Anyhow, we're all done. No, talkers. We have our preferred partner coming in, Monarca Media. I'm gonna make sure I pronounce that right. Come on up, guys. Thank you for bringing lunch. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. while they're doing that, and anybody have any wants and needs, we'll cover that right now. Anybody got anything? Mark, go ahead.
I got a new listing just down the street, 27. I got a new listing just off of 2700 South and 800 East, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It has updates. It's got a fenced backyard. It's got mature trees. And we are 539.
Okay. Lee, what do you got?
I've got a new one out in Daybreak that I've listed, don't have a price yet, would be about 700. The carpet, and I have them putting in a bathroom downstairs. But it's a beautiful Rambler, 1833 square feet on each floor, 3-car garage, about 700.
You're not having them put carpet in this bathroom, right?
There will never be.
Okay. You hear that, Samantha? Never carpet.
Folks, and I pulled the house across the street that just went under contract after 62 days. And I said, look at the photos. Tell me what you think. Because we met 10 days ago and they've been working their butts off doing the heavy lifting. And they went, oh, now I see why you have us doing all of these things. And I think that does relate to what Samantha was talking about, is immediately there is no one who's going to buy a house that has carpeting in any bathroom, no matter what price point. But sitting down with them with those comps and letting them discover is helpful.
Anybody else have any wants or needs? Sabrina.
I have a condo in Waterbury that's just sitting. It's the lowest price for 3 years, but we can't really lower it too much more, but it needs to go. So it's 2-bed, 2-bath, main level,
Single level.
by the pool. I mean, I don't know. It was just painted. There's built-in. So there's been one complaint about that. It's more like an office. So other than that, there's been no complaints. So and there's been really no showings too.
Yeah.
It's just sitting. What level is it on? Main level. Yeah, nobody shows up. Yeah, but there's 4 in the community and all the agents call me going, what's going on? Probably. Yeah, they're all hired. No, I was expecting. Yeah, I was literally expecting to get the phone call and be like, what the hell are you doing? Because that was the point. And I got nothing, and everybody was watching, and then they called me like, so how much activity did you get? So they've all the agents.
Annie, we'll get you guys in a second. I wasn't sure how long I was going to take, so yeah.
Like, I got some ideas for you. Talk after. Yeah, cool.
Similarly, I have a listing that's just been dead in the water. It's really nice, updated, sandy. It's on a cul-de-sac. It's got a backyard with like nice big trees. You could hang a hammock back there. I've had 2 open houses and 1 independent showing in a month. And so I have no idea. It's like 10,000 South and 200 East. So it's like got close freeway access, but still tucked back. It's right by public transportation and liquor stores. And like, what else do you need in
Whoa,
life?
all right. Let me find my buyers now.
We just lowered it to 539, I think. 3 beds, 2 baths. It's got like a rumpus room with a outdoor access from the basement, and it's got a huge garage. One of the side garage doors is broken. We'll fix it. Like, who cares? We'll deal with it. Yeah, huge garage, cul-de-sac, nice house, freshly painted, backyard with trees. I have no friggin' clue what's going on. Okay.
All right. Okay, thanks everybody. Okay, let's turn it over to our preferred partner.
Okay, can you guys hear me? I want to
Yeah.
make sure, sometimes I talk quiet, so. My name's Paige. I'm with Monarcha Media, and we specialize in all things real estate media. I'm gonna use my phone as my little clicker today. Before I dive in though, I wanted to share, we were the 2025 Best of State for real estate media this year.
Congrats.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Big deal.
exciting. I share that to say that it's not about like winning awards and things like that, but I think it's a good signal that we are on the right track to really help you guys showcase your listings to the best of your ability. We offer photography, video, and I'll get into kind of some of the services, but I just feel like this is just a good marker that we're doing it the right way. What would you guys say, and I want to hear from you, what would you guys say helps make a listing stand out?
Staging.
10 points for you, 12 for you. Yeah, I would say photography, staging, video, anything that can really help give buyers an idea. We are in and out of homes every day as the nature of the businesses we work in, but the general public isn't. So helping their imagination really see what a space could be is both of our jobs. It's a two-way street. And that's what we help with. Oh my gosh, guys, this keeps locking. Okay. Immediately, what was the first picture you guys were drawn to?
The right.
Okay. And I would say, in all honesty, these are comparable houses, comparable architecture, maybe same front yard size. They're pretty similar houses, right? But if it's not sharp, it's not aesthetically pleasing, people are going to scroll past, even if it could be potentially their dream home. If you can't win the click, you can't win the showing. So having visuals that will appeal to people to really pique their interest and take that next step to meet with you is the first step. And if we're not doing that right, then you guys are limiting the reach that you guys can have on your properties. So making sure it's clear, sharp, beautiful blue sky, everything that makes it attractive that says, hey, I would like to live here. I could be proud of this home. This would be a good investment for me. At Monarca Media, I would say our biggest thing is that we don't believe your marketing should be limited. So we provide unlimited photos. It's not really your job to say, could I use 15? Could I use 20? That's just more mental load for you and the long list of things that goes on in a transaction. We capture everything. You guys decide what you market it with. And along with that, we do free drone photos. So I know photographers come and stand in front of you guys every day. It's a normal part of this. Drone photos are an upgrade for every single one of them. We include those free because we know the value that they bring you, being able to show the context of the neighborhood, maybe the size of the yard, really letting people envision themselves, hey, I could have my barbecue here, like you were saying, the house with the trees. Like, that's unheard of right now with so many new builds in these new neighborhoods that don't have mature trees. Being able to really establish that and show people why you want to live here is what drone photos really allow. We do social media reels. And if you guys aren't on social media, that's another talk, but we need to be on social media. And so we do, whether it's branding for yourself, branding for your listing, anything that could really help you guys get your name out there and establish yourselves as the experts. And then floor plans. Honestly, if you guys aren't doing these with your listings, I feel like it's an injustice. It shows people the flow of the home. It can weed out serious showings versus people that maybe the layout was never going to work for to begin with. And now you've just disturbed your sellers, got their hopes up. They think they might get an offer. When if you would have just put a floor plan up, they would have known maybe that house will work for them or won't. It helps weed things out. And full marketing design. So I feel like having listing presentations is very, very important. And every listing you do is your marketing to win your next one. So we help create custom marketing presentations, your open house flyers, your digital ads, anything to really get some traction on your listing. And then branding sessions. I hope nobody in here has a photo of themselves cropped from a wedding 10 years ago, and that's their business headshot. You? Oh,
He had hair.
You had hair, right? Yeah. No. So we do personal branding photo sessions, headshot refreshes, really anything you could need to help build your personal brand as well. Okay. We offer two options. So a studio option, or if you want to do them at your listing, say you have a listing that you've paid to have staged, we can meet you there and do some branding photos before we do the listing photos. Whatever is most convenient for you is what we like to do. I personally have the belief that luxury is not a price point. It is an experience. And I feel like every listing needs photography at the minimum. And so whether it's a starter home, maybe a mobile home, maybe a luxury estate, we really have experience in capturing every property type, even fix and flips. And they're kind of sketchy, but you got to get something to send the investors. We can do every type of property and really help you guys get it sold. That's the whole point, right? That's what we're all here for. Okay. Sometimes your idea of clean and ready is not your sellers, right? You show up, you're like, great, the photographer is going to be here in 5 minutes and the house is a wreck. So we do digital decluttering. It can really help empty the space out. Maybe they're moving, there's boxes, or maybe they just have a lot of stuff. We can help remove it and let people really visualize what the space has the potential to be. If I saw 2 vacuums on the MLS, I would say, do they have like 10 cats? What's going on? So this will really help clear it out and let people see the space for what it is because they're not buying the stuff in it. So it's a great option. And kind of to go hand in hand with that is our virtual staging. Traditional staging's best, right? I think that's always best, but maybe the budget doesn't allow for it or the timelines, and that's where virtual staging can come in. I said it before, but you guys, we're in houses every day and the public isn't. It could be their first time buying a house. Maybe they're downsizing after living in the same one for 30 years. They can't visualize what a new space will be, and this is your way to help them. Hey, your TV can go here. This is where your dining table can go, and really just give them the idea. Okay, let's hope these play. You never know with camera. Okay. These are some social media reels. I'm going to show you guys. This first one is more of just a house focusing on the different finishes and features. And then the second one is just showing what agents can do to really showcase why you want to buy that home and why you'd want to live in the area. It's not the same. Well, these aren't the same without music, let's just be honest. You guys can check these out on our Instagram. No worries there. I'm almost done, I promise. I know you guys are waiting for the tacos. Our areas of service, really from North Ogden down to Santaquin and anywhere in between. If you guys have a listing in any of these counties, we can get there and we don't have travel fees. So I think that's something really big. Wherever you guys have one outside of this area, give us a call. We'll see how we can make it work. And then if you guys can scan this QR code, it's 2025. Everything needs to be on an app, right? And so we have a booking app. It's available on Google and Apple. All of your previous listings, all of your upcoming listings, everything organized all in the same space. You guys have 1 million emails for every transaction, and you shouldn't have to try to figure out where your marketing is in the midst of all of that. So you just open the app, everything's there, all of the marketing materials you could need to help announce it. Easy to send links to people that might be interested. It's really great. And then this last one, okay. This is the Monarca difference. So out of everything I said, if you guys only remember this, we do free drone photos. We get everything back to you the next morning. We don't have a photo limit, and we have super access. Makes it super easy so you guys can go on about your days. And then we're gonna do a giveaway for you guys here. If you just give us a follow on Instagram, if you already follow us, unfollow us, follow us again so your name's entered. We'll do a giveaway tonight on our stories for a free social media reel for your guys' next listing. Yeah, that's a great question. It's just a flat rate based on the size of the home. So on that brochure that you have, there's a QR code on there on the back. It's on the back or in the front? It's somewhere on there. Oh, on the front.